Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki, Sean, and Ryan are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 28, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined once more by my good friends Brian Hall.
Happy August, everybody.
Happy August. It is August. Wow.
It is.
And, of course, Sean Coyle.
If you stop right there, I'll bring back the sun. No? Okay. This is my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
I have no idea. You lost me with that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you need to tell us. This. Dead air is great.
It's from the 1980s. Paul McCartney wrote the title song for it. It's a comedy.
Paul McCartney wrote it.
Schindler's List.
I would have thought the same thing, but he said 80s, so...
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd is in it.
Spies Like Us?
That is correct.
Wow.
I've never seen Spies Like Us.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you have.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of those movies Sean forced you to watch.
No, but Paul McCartney wrote the title song for that? Wow.
Yep.
Is it called Spies Like Us?
It is called Spies Like Us.
Huh. Wow. I don't even know if I've heard that song.
Wow. Well, there we go. That's now we know that. We didn't know that before.
Look it up, everybody.
I think that movie may be the last time that Chevy Chase did something worth a damn. Other than Community.
No, well, Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation.
Was that after?
Yeah. And Cops and Robertsons. Come on.
Okay.
Spies Like
I'm going to disconnect Brian now. He just he eliminated himself. He voted himself off the show just now. The pairing of Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That was one for the ages. I think that's right up there
really?
with Newman.
All I remember is Jack
Redford.
Palance in it.
Yeah.
JT.
Oh, Jack Palance is in that too. That's right.
Yeah.
To us all in our hearts.
Well,
GTT. Alrighty. Well, I got some news to share before we get into anything. As you know, a few weeks ago, I mentioned that the wife and I had child number 4 on the way. Child of gender to be determined at a later date. Well, the gender has been determined, and it is a drum roll, please. Okay. Okay, well...
we'll add it in post.
No drum roll, but it is... Thank you. It's a... Any guesses?
It's a child.
Well, I know what it is.
It is a child. Oh, good call. Good point. It is... A child. The child. It is a boy.
Hey!
So this is... So my wife has been... My wife has been staring at the wall for the past week. Just, she's not answering anybody.
She now will have 5 boys.
Yeah, exactly.
5 boys.
She's given up. She's just, she just kind of grunts when you talk to her. So that's where we're at.
Whatever you say, Zaki.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that even my boys are like, eh. Like I think they were all hoping. They were all hoping for a girl. We're like, it's a boy, and they're like, eh. All right.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well,
more competition.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
He's the one that's gonna, become president or something.
Yeah. Happy Eid,
I feel like this. Oh, thank you very much. Today is Eid. In fact, today is the first day in a month where I haven't had to fast, and today's the last day of my summer semester, so everything's coming up, Zaki, today. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
See, I'm not just some ignorant white guy like you keep reminding me that I am. John, you're my most ignorant
for this
white
one
boy
particular
friend.
instance, I'll
That's what I hear. Yes.
Well, I just wish you wouldn't hide the silverware every time I come over for dinner, because it hurts my feelings when you do that. What new TV shows have you been watching, Sean?
You know.
That's become a recurring motif on our show. Sean's TV shows. Sean's shows, we should call it.
Pew, pew, pew.
Sean's shows.
Sean's shows. Well, let's see. We finished Homeland season 1.
Oh, so what'd you think? I mean, I guess without getting into spoilers here.
Without getting into spoilers,
you were having a hard time
like the
with it.
end.
What?
Yeah, I started off like episode 1, 2, 3. It was like, yeah, where's this show going? It's kind of silly. I don't know. And then episode 4, it's like, yes, I'm going to stick around. Mm-hmm. And then I liked it up until the end was the season finale was a 2-parter, and I liked part 1 of it. And then I just felt that lost a little bit of steam. It was like, I don't know, the cliffhanger for the next season is enough to make you want to come back. But at the same time, it was something that, like, there was like a detail that was revealed that I remembered, but they reveal it to you in a way where you're like, you're supposed to have forgotten it. So it felt like this twist that wasn't a twist, and kind of weird. I don't know. It ended on a bit of a whimper. I don't know.
All right.
Not a bad whimper. It just wasn't what I was hoping for. And then let's see. Yeah. I cruised through the first season of Archer on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
animated
I keep
show
hearing
on
good things
FX.
about that. Yeah.
You know, it's crude. It's very crude, and it's very raunchy, and it's very violent, and very.
So it
very
sounds like
raunchy.
my kind of show. So I'll be adding it to my queue,
raunchy.
is what that means.
I gotta tell you,
You had
like,
me at
there's
raunchy.
sort of a shock value that there's sort of a shock value about it that you know it makes it interesting, but then it just it kind of becomes the same thing each episode, and you sort of find yourself tuning out. So I'm not going to make an effort to catch up on season 2. Although H. John Benjamin, who's the voice, he's also the voice in Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh, okay.
That guy's the guy.
He's hysterical. Yeah.
He's the guy.
And he's doing the same. He's doing the same character in each show, which is phenomenal. It's the same voice, the same cadence, the same delivery, same everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's if you're struggling to find something, they go by real fast. They're super short. It's only 13 episodes, or might even only be 10 the first season. But
yeah, on those nights when you're sort of like, I don't know, I don't feel like watching a movie. I get like this where I'm like, I don't feel like starting a movie. I don't necessarily have a show of the moment.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like, what's that? What's something I could just watch right now real quick and easy? So
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, as we do each and every week, we try to start things off with listener letters, and we have a twofer here from Omar. And first up, he says, question: I recently read that sales of digital comic books are surpassing expectations and growing. I would love to hear your thoughts on this trend towards digital comics. How do you like the experience? What are the best apps to read on? And this I can speak to a little bit because I've started now reading back issues and things on my iPad, and I'm definitely a fan. I don't know if you guys have tried it, reading on tablets.
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
it's definitely a paradigm shift where I was like, I'm never gonna what is this, and then I tried it and I was like, I think I like this. I've been reading Simpsons comics actually on my iPad, and I've been enjoying that. And
you're talking about
the
comics
biggest thing
specifically
is that you can
on tablets.
Correct. But I mean, you can expand it outward to books and magazines too. I think just the interactivity of it, I think, is pretty fantastic. So, and I would say I read more. Go ahead.
What's that? Oh,
no, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I think we're experiencing a little bit of a delay, but I read. I started Why the Last Man on an iPad, and it was pretty cool. Where I just loved the whole. You could only experience it this way on a digital device, where it zooms into each panel,
right.
And as you swipe along, you don't have to correct it yourself. You don't have to zoom in and out with your fingers. It knows exactly where to go and how big it should make it. And some panels have, action within them. And so it begins at the front end of the panel. And if you swipe again, it just slides over the panel. It's a very, I don't know if cinematic is the right word, but it's very intuitive.
It's interactive, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he asks another question here, which is, I collected comic books as a kid from the 80s to the mid-90s. It's been years since I bought anything, but every summer with all the superhero movies these days, I get the itch to delve back in. What are the 2 or 3 best series these days? Are there any recent stories that are must-reads? Any recommendations? Now, I don't read any recent books, and Sean, I don't believe you do either.
Not anymore. I've tried. You know, there's a comic store across the street from where I work, so occasionally I'll just walk in there and thumb through stuff, and it's
and then you walk back out.
It's like 2 pages in, I'm just like, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, the only books I really read are like Planet of the Apes and G.I. Joe, so I'm not going to bother recommending that. But I reached out to our old friend Paul Shirey, who does read a lot of current comics, and I bounced this off of him, and so this is what he sent back to me. So Omar, this is from Paul. He says, the current restart run on Thor by Jason Aaron is beyond awesome. Great read, great art, really solid. All new X-Men by Bendis and Immonen, same as Thor. Great read, great art, classic characters. Pretty simple to pick up on. Batman and Robin by Tomasi and Gleason, probably my favorite book on the shelf. However, the current run on the regular Batman by Snyder and Capullo is money as well. Probably more accessible to new readers, so I'd recommend that. All of those have trade paperbacks in the mix and have been ongoing only for the last year, so it wouldn't be hard to pick up and jump on. Hope that helps. So
nice.
That is, I know, it's nice to have Paul on speed dial for questions that out nerd even us, which is quite the feat, really. We also we had a comment on our Facebook page, but because we're so tech savvy, we can't seem to find the comment on our Facebook page. But it was a comment by somebody who mentioned that we spend a lot of time on the show talking about blockbusters and kind of the big releases, to the detriment of, this person feels, our looking at sort of smaller indie movies. So I had intended on reading that letter and then tearing off a switch on this person, but unfortunately I can't find the letter. But I would contest that, because I think we do spend a fair amount of time talking about some of the smaller releases and our reactions to those. And Brian, I know that you mentioned that you saw Fruitvale Station recently, isn't that right?
Yeah, well, and before I talk about that, I just want to say, also, I think it also has to do with the time of year, where we're in the middle of summer tentpole palooza, so those just seem to be the big, the film's talking points of the moment. Right. But once it becomes fall and early winter, then you get more of the smaller, at least quote unquote Oscar films. Right. A little less smashy. Right. But but no, I do try to shake it up a little bit from time to time, and so I'll try to bring some more of those films up. I did see Fruitvale Station, which, have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to, though.
Negative. No.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the last episode, or maybe two ago. And
last time. We were talking about the Rocky spinoff.
Right. And it's based on a true event from 2009. Where there was an incident at a BART station in the Fruitvale Station is actually where the title comes from, and a young man was shot, and it was captured, shot by police accidentally in a skirmish, and it was caught on several people's phones, so it sort of went viral, and there was a lot of outrage over it. And the movie, I knew maybe not even all of that when I went into it, and I just knew there was a lot of positive word about it, and I enjoyed it, but I felt it came off as a little incomplete for me. I think it really it's pretty short. I think it's under 90 minutes, and it really is just an account of the last 24 hours of this guy's life. I mean, the opening seconds of this movie are the actual footage of the incident. So you know where this is going. Right. And then you start into the fictionalized account of his day. And it's interesting. I mean, when I was walking out of it, I almost didn't know what I felt, because you're watching something and you feel angry and horrible about the events that happened. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure what the movie was setting out to accomplish. I mean, it almost just feels like a really nice cinematic eulogy for this person. But at the same time, it's just sort of a straightforward account, and then it ends, and you're just like, well, that's awful. It doesn't I didn't feel like it necessarily had a whole lot to say. I don't know that's necessarily bad. I mean, maybe that's just what they wanted, just to present the incident and then to people. But yeah, I like I said, there's a lot of positive, very positive word of mouth about this movie. I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, it's well done, it's well acted, but I didn't, like I said, it felt a little incomplete for me, I think.
Yeah, how's Michael B. Jordan?
He's good. I mean, he's I guess he does the role right in that it's not a showy performance. It's almost so natural that you don't think about it. And I think that's probably the right way to go, because you're not trying to turn this guy into some sort of saint, saint figure, and you're not. And the movie doesn't shy away from showing that he wasn't, he was involved with some, gnarly stuff. And not everybody in the movie, it's not a black or white issue, you know what I mean, or black and white issue. It's, a big misunderstanding that spiraled out of control, and both sides of the fence behaved in ways that were, less than desirable. And so you got to respect the film for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good performance.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I know that Michael B. Jordan has a lot of heat on him lately, and obviously because of this film. I think personally, I think his next movie should be a team up with Bugs Bunny. I think just to mess with people.
Just full circle.
Yeah. Space Jam 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'll say real quick, I also saw Sound City, which had come out maybe about half a year ago, and it was a documentary by Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters and Nirvana, and it's about
your buddy Dave Grohl.
Oh, my pal.
Your Dave Grohl.
Yeah. For context, I am a huge Nirvana fan and a huge Foo Fighters fan, and I was just learning how to play instruments when I was listening to those records, and that's how I learned to play instruments, so I have a lot of admiration for him as an artist. And Zaki was there in one of my 2 encounters with Dave Grohl, where I nervously approached him at a register at Amoeba Records and was like, "You're amazing, dude."
Yep.
And
he started pleasuring him right there in front of everybody. It was incredibly awkward. I remember that. That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had heard about this documentary and heard it was really good, and it's really interesting. It's on Amazon Prime now, if you have Amazon Prime for free streaming, and it's an account of this really rinky-dink recording studio in the Valley in Southern California. Los Angeles, I should say. I speak like everyone lives where I live. In Van Nuys, California. And it sort of rose to fame because Fleetwood Mac recorded their first album there, and then everyone wanted to record there because it had this unique sound in spite of how run down the place was. And then it sort of dwindled, but then Nirvana recording Nevermind there brought it back to life. And so a lot of people wanted to record there, but it was sort of struggling because it wasn't digital savvy as the industry was headed that direction. And I'd say it's about 90 minutes. The first hour is a really interesting account. I mean, it's a very interesting story, and all the artists are back to tell the story. Tom Petty, Fleetwood Mac, Rick Springfield. And then the last 30 minutes, Dave Grohl takes the soundboard from that place, which is, I guess there's only a handful of them in the world. And then he brings all these artists in to sort of record a new album. And that part feels a little like, okay, like this is probably a tad more interesting to the people who were there when that was happening.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that said, I mean, it's I think it's worth a watch if you're interested in music history or rock and roll history.
And it's called Sound City. Sound City. Yeah. Okay, nice. Well, I mean, while we're talking about kind of smaller indie movies, I wanted to mention the movie Jobs, which is, of course, it's not an autobiography; it's a biography of Steve Jobs. And I had a chance a few weeks ago to chat with Joshua Stern and Ashton Kutcher, the director. And the Cooch, as Sean calls him. Sean and only Sean calls him. Ashton Kutcher, of course, stars in the film as Steve Jobs, and Josh Stern directed it. And I had a chance to talk to them about the movie, and so I figured let's play the audio, some of the highlights from our conversation, and then I can offer my own take on the film after that. So let's go ahead and play that.
Just to start things off, this is obviously such a big story. Steve Jobs is such just a presence in our life. What did you learn about Steve Jobs? This is for both of you. You lived inside his world for so long. What did you learn that you didn't before?
Well, I think people know Steve Jobs, the showman. I think people know the guy who stood up and gave the keynotes, the magician, the salesman. I think that's the Steve Jobs that people know. And there's a guy underneath there that's broken and hurt and driven and brilliant, although I think people knew that, but I don't think people know to what extent, and charismatic and mischievous and vindictive, and I think that's the guy that we learned about, and I think that's the guy that we think it's valuable for other people to know.
And I think we take him for granted for everything that he's given to the culture. But what I learned, and it's something I think everybody can relate to, was just how misunderstood he was for so long, decades. People don't understand that he really was underestimated, and he was sort of an enigma for a lot of people. And I think that the crux of feeling isolated by your own vision and feeling other than by how misunderstood you are, by not only how you communicate, but what you want to create in the world, is something we all feel at one time or another. And that was a revelation to me, as far as, to the extent of it, during his youth especially.
And, this is such an expansive story. You had to make decisions about what we see and what we don't. How did you decide what the film covered?
Well, I think that everybody has something invested in a different part of Steve's life. And it's a very big life, it's a very rich life. And when you're telling the story in what ours is over 2 hours, you have got to make decisions as to what you're going to tell and not tell. And for us generally, I think it was about him creating the product, getting to that moment where he could feel fulfilled by his one singular vision of the home computer. And all of the other issues we could get into, the left and the right of it, and were things that sort of started to sort of fall off because it didn't sort of serve the focus of that. Because once you go down one path, you can't just do a scene about it. You have to discuss it. You can't just say that he went to Xerox. You can't just have a quick moment. You have to explain it. And what did he learn? And how did he get in? And all of a sudden it becomes complicated. Or, the moment he was giving a speech, at Stanford, and he met his wife, and then they went on a walk, and then they got married, and then he was sitting in his office at Next. There's so many moments where I thought at one point about the movie, and I thought about movies that are 2 hours and 25 minutes. And every time I see those movies, everyone comes up and they usually say, well, that could have lost 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you think about reverse engineering that movie, and I think we try to get ahead of the moments by focusing it on Steve and his singular and also I think on some strange way, when it came to his personal life, in deference to his personal life and the people who are still alive, we didn't really get into too much of his life, but we did make choices to try to focus the movie and keep it about him and about his vision.
Just piggybacking off what you just said about, this is a recent story. There are people who are still alive. Steve Wozniak is obviously still alive. And we all have our perception of Steve Jobs, obviously. Did you feel constrained in a way in terms of creative license, artistic license, in terms of your performance, for example? How did you get inside that character, and how much was you and how much was Steve Jobs?
Well, I think it's always a combination of both. You're trying to create an approximation of who you interpret a character to be when you play them. And it's a difficult task. It's an even more difficult task when you have a person who's still very much part of the zeitgeist. And when the image of the person that is a part of the zeitgeist is very specific and is what that individual wanted to show the public.
It's iconic.
It's iconic. However, it's recent and intimate, and you hold the memory of him in your hand every day. So it's in your face. And I think that presents a specific challenge, and it's because the character comes with distinct expectations. So if you play Abraham Lincoln and you have the top hat and the beard and you're tall, there's a general understanding of that approximation, and people today don't remember how he walked or talked. So you can read and infer, but an approximation in that regards isn't probably judged so acutely. When Val Kilmer played Jim Morrison, there was a generation of people that understood Jim Morrison, but even a lot of the fans of Jim Morrison never saw Jim Morrison or met Jim. They may have heard his music, but they didn't know the way he walked or talked or what he did. Steve Jobs, people knew. They saw his keynote presentations, and they knew who he wanted them to know. And it's really started like at the Mac. When Mac was launched is when he sort of hit a public stage that started to become a national, then international public stage. And there are scenes in the movie you can go online and you can actually watch in real life what happened. And that's a daunting, scary task, because there's a life that existed before 25 years old that nobody knows. And you have to approximate how he became who he is. You're not as you were 20 years ago. When he became the known weapon of Steve Jobs, was not who he was 20 years prior. And so building the guy and trusting the instincts around building how he became who he was daunting and terrifying and scary and difficult.
And when you talk about embodying the character, I know that you embodied a lot of his physicality with the gait and the way he walked and whatnot. Did you find it easier to work from the outside in? Did you find looking like him helped you create the character? Did you find something inside that you sort of created for your take on him?
When you build characters from the outside in, they become oftentimes they become like Saturday Night Live characters, or they become like caricatures of the character. And I've seen people do those versions of who he was. So, I made a conscious effort to learn why he made the choices he made, and then start making those personal choices for myself. And the process of that was I started reading everything about him that I could find. And then once I collected enough about him, I started actually reading things that he probably read and meeting the people he probably met and hung out with, and studying Edwin Land and Ansel Adams and Bauhaus and Fallon and reading autobiography of a yogi and mucus-free diet healing system, and the consuming the materials that he consumed, so is that the choices that I made were the choices that he would make, but not from me going, oh, what would Steve Jobs do, but from me going, this is what I would do based on this collection of knowledge.
It was also, I can tell you from this perspective that he didn't even start thinking about the mannerisms until after weeks and weeks of discussion about the organic genesis of who he was. But then even the mannerisms had to have a thought as to how does it start when he's younger, and how do they manifest itself when he was much more sort of, and then how did all of that sort of become more and more sort of focused as he got older, because he was a very mannered guy.
Well, why did he walk that way?
And why did he walk? Why?
If you walk barefoot when you were younger a lot, you probably got used to stubbing your toe quite a bit, and so you pick up your feet and walk with a little bit of a different lope. If you spent time in India where everyone said namaste, when you actually receive gratitude, you probably do that gesture. And so understanding the sort of architecture of that, understanding that one of his parents was from Wisconsin, so he had a little bit of a Midwest accent, but then one of his parents was from Northern California, so when he said like and I, he actually said it with an open vocabulary. Understanding those nuances when you dissect and break somebody down are pretty important.
Well, just from hearing you talk, you really got inside this character, and I know that you came into this with a great deal of admiration for as you said, the icon that he was. Did you feel uneasy about showing maybe parts of his life that weren't necessarily the most flattering?
Yeah, in fact, it was part of my motivation to actually do the film. I work a lot in the tech space and work a lot with entrepreneurs and people that work with Steve and know Steve and or consider themselves friends of Steve's and colleagues of Steve's and people who honor him. And I wanted to. When I read the script, I was a little like taken aback because that's not the way I saw him. Mm-hmm. And I felt like if not interpreted properly, it could be very misconstrued by someone who just read it and was like, wow, that guy was an asshole, and didn't understand why he was an asshole. Because sometimes being an asshole can be very valuable. And sometimes you are the guy in the room that cares more than anyone. And you don't care if people think you're an asshole because your vision is maybe more beneficial to people than what even they realize.
Well, he was like a living paradigm shift. You know, I mean, it's, you know, this is the first scene of the movie, right? You walk out and you've got it's a music player, and it's this big. And I teach, you know, students who are 17, 18, and I'm like, there was a time when you had to put tapes in your tape deck, and you would drive off the road trying to change music, and now it's just you have a thing, boom, every album you own, and that, you know, that's the larger than life quality that, you know, you wonder, is there going to be another personality like this?
Well, what do you think about that? What do you think about? I mean, there always is. I know there always is, but what do you think about that? What's that going to look like? The next guy.
You know, I think about the telephone. You know, the Alexander Graham Bell revolution of the telephone and what that did for communication, the invention of it. Mm-hmm. I think about the automobile. I think about, like, when I was a kid, you know, the invention of the answering machine, mm-hmm. which I was like, huge. Wow, or call waiting. Yeah. Which was like a very big thing. It was a very big thing. Call waiting was a very big thing. And they, you know, these incremental innovations happen constantly. And, you know, I mean, years before Steve Jobs actually made these things popular, you know, Alan Kay and the guys at Park, they built the GUI, and they built the mouse, and they built the networking of computers, and, you know, the internet was an invention of DARPA, you know, the government. That, you know, these things, there will be strides in innovation, and, you know, the hope of the legacy of Steve Jobs is not that somebody's going to create something great, because people are creating something great all the time. But they're going to create something that's useful and beautiful.
One last question. Ashton, I know you're back on 2.5 Men. I think this is the third year. What's the appeal for you of having a home base on TV while also doing these projects?
Man, you know, you go and you do a movie like this, and you dive deep, right? You spend 3 months just like grinding to figure out a character, and then you have, you know, you show up on the day and it's like, that's it. Like, we didn't rehearse this movie. No. And you just show up and you just do it, right? And then it's like this intense bundle of energy. You crank it up, and you go and you do a TV show. And what most people don't realize is, I get a screenplay on Monday from the television show. And then on Tuesday, I get a new screenplay for the same show. And on Wednesday, I get a new screenplay for the same show. And on Thursday, I get a new screenplay for the same show. And it's changing every single day. It's gradually getting better and better and better and more refined. And then I have one night to memorize 45 pages of a show and put it up in front of a live audience on Friday night. And the process of that is exhilarating. So it's like, if you talk to an entrepreneur and, you know, they spent 8 months building the first beta product that they put out, and they go, wow, that's amazing. But that same entrepreneur might go to a developer weekend where they've got 2 days to actually like develop a product and build it and then like present it in front of everybody and have it work. And there's a different type of exhilaration, different type of excitement. Both are equally interesting and valuable and fun and entertaining to do and perform. And then I also have a family there. I could spend 7 months out of the year with John Cryer, who's one of the greatest human beings I've ever met, and Jamie Widows, who's just this, like, just like the guy that, one of the guys that, like, if he could give me feedback on everything in my life, I would be happy. That's my director. You know, like, if he could just give me feedback on everything, it would be great, because it's always valuable and thoughtful and caring and giving. And Chuck Lorre, who's this uncompromising creator of, like, word wizard and comedy wizard. You know, and that family is it's awesome to have. When you do movies, you have a 3-month family, and then everybody goes away and then joins another family. You know, it's like, and if you're lucky, you actually form a relationship with someone where you hopefully get to work together again. And so it's two different crafts and two different sets of excitement and joy. So
that's
classic Kutch.
Now you'll notice he was pretty mellow, I think, in our chat, and I think he's actually, and this sounds, I don't mean it to sound the same, but he I was surprised at how sort of very soft spoken and thoughtful he was with his answers, which makes it sound like I was expecting him to be a loud idiot, which is that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. But
no, I mean it's sort of been his public persona for a while, sort of like this prankster, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect like.
And
Kelso,
so I wonder if this is
punked, you know.
I mean, this is him stepping out into something a little different. So
yeah, and to that point, I think I applaud him doing that. I applaud him stepping out outside his comfort zone, and I think I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a big push to sort of get him some Oscar recognition, and I don't know that I'd necessarily say that this is an Oscar caliber performance, but I think it clearly shows him stretching as a performer. So I can appreciate that. You know, and just from what you heard in the interview, you know, he definitely put a lot of thought into constructing the persona of the character and whatnot. And I was pretty impressed by how deeply he went into how he was going to, you know, portray this character. So I do respect that. As to the film itself, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you about, because we were talking before we started recording, and I said that I've read the Steve Jobs autobiography, and I've seen Pirates of the Silicon Valley, and so I was wondering what this film adds to the conversation.
Well, this film essentially skips over the gist of Pirates of Silicon Valley, which is specifically about the rivalry between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. This, other than one phone call between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, who we never see, by the way, this pretty much just skips right over that. So it's a very linear telling of Jobs in his college years, his founding of Apple. He gets kicked out of Apple. He comes back to Apple. It's pretty much it's episodic. I don't want to say TV movie-ish, but it's very, you know, it's not, you know, I mean, it's not The Social Network. You know what I mean?
Right.
So is it worth seeing? I'd say it's worth seeing. You know, it's worth at least checking out. It'll give you a few insights into Jobs. I mean, speaking of The Social Network, I know that Aaron Sorkin is writing a biography of Steve Jobs as well, and one assumes that'll involve more walking and talking, if nothing else. So that's all we can say about that. Moving on, though, in terms of some other new releases that are out right now, we've got Elysium is the big one, which is, we're recording on Thursday night, the 8th, so this is kind of the night that Elysium is opening, so because of that, you guys have not seen it, otherwise this would go on the other side of the spoiler wall.
All I know is Elysium sounds like a retirement village I'd like to live in.
Well, that's kind of the impression the film gives, right? That Elysium is where you want to be, and Earth is where you don't want to be. Now, this is directed by Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9, which I'm sure you guys have seen, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
love that movie.
It was a great movie, and Charlton Copley is in this, by the way, and he's a lot of fun in this.
What?
Matt Damon is excellent. This is the third movie this year about the aftermath of some crazy apocalypse on Earth. Because we've got Oblivion and After Earth and Elysium, and this stands just so far above those other two, especially After Earth, that it's just an easy recommendation. I mean, it's so gratifying. I mean, we've spent all summer, every week, talking about some reboot or some sequel or some prequel or some remake, and it's the nicest thing to be able to just see a movie that's ambitious and it's big and it's a big blockbuster, but you know what? It's an original idea that's not part one of a trilogy.
Right, right.
It's just lovely, and I don't want to get into spoilers, and we can talk about it next time. But I mean, easy recommendation. Just probably one of the best movies I've seen this summer, in my opinion.
Well, it just feels like the worlds that Blomkamp creates. I was saying to you, they just feel more immersive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't feel like I'm watching like someone's CGI VFX reel. You know, like every other film. Like he really. There's a lot of extravagant craziness going on, but there's also it looks dusty. You know what I mean? Like it feels tangible. Well, and I think that adds a lot of credibility.
To me, I see in Blomkamp, I see him as a young James Cameron.
Wow.
In my opinion, in that Cameron,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Cameron, in his I mean, not in his prime, because I mean he's been pretty consistently successful. But like when he was starting out in the '80s, you look at something like The Terminator. It's an original world. Right. Even Aliens, he spun a pre-existing world into an original direction.
Right.
And when you think about it, I mean, Cameron is very much the same way. Aliens notwithstanding, he doesn't play in other people's sandbox. He creates his own sandbox.
Yeah.
And I think Blomkamp is there. And it says something that, they've asked him, like, oh, are you going to do a superhero movie? And he's like, no. Are you going to do Star Wars? He's like, no, I'm not interested, Good. And it's funny how we're like, good. Like, that's like the sign of respect for a filmmaker. You're like, good.
Yeah. Well, we got like 20 years until he makes a movie about blue aliens on another planet, and he won't stop making them. All
I say is enjoy those 20 years. Because the time goes by quickly. And I'm looking forward to talking about it with you, next time we record.
Yeah.
There's another new release that's out, and this is a straight-to-video release, but Sean, you saw it. It's the Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, which is an animated movie, part of the DC Universe catalog. So this is actually momentous, because it's one of the rare times where Sean and I have seen something and Brian has not.
Yeah.
This might be a first on this show, I'm pretty sure. So this is extremely PG-13, and I would say it bumps right up against the PG-13 because it involves bloody dismemberings and mass murder, and it's awesome.
It really is.
When is it not?
Well, we're talking about, we had the question earlier about comic storylines. This is actually based on a comic storyline from a couple of years ago called Flashpoint. And in the DC Comics, this was the storyline that reset the DC universe and sort of rebooted it. And there was this whole initiative called the New 52 where they just started everything over with new #1 issues. And I'm not going to put on my comic nerd hat and start venting about that. But I did not like the comic book storyline because of what it led to. So I went into this movie with a certain amount of bias, like pre-existing bias. But I was blown away by it. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was just bananas. And Sean, I mean, you're the biggest Flash fan I know, and this is all about the Flash. So I'm very curious to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, holy nuts! This movie was violent as hell. I mean, like you said, the definite plus side is that you get to see the Flash be a total badass, which we haven't really seen. Like he's had his moments in the Justice League cartoon series and stuff like that.
And that TV show from the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
True. Dawson. Dawson's dad.
Dawson's dad, yeah.
With Dawson's dad, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the violence definitely takes you by surprise. The animation, it's done in very much like an anime sort of style, so there's like a stylistic element to the killing and all the bloodshed and all that kind of stuff. And when you really think about it, you think back on it, it's kind of like in that Braveheart kind of way. Like you do see a lot of stuff. For example, I'm not going to give it away, but a bad guy gets shot in the head, and there's a rack focus through the hole in his skull to the hero who shot him. So there's like stuff like that, but a lot of it is actually
good times,
sort of like the Braveheart. It's kind of like the Braveheart kind of thing, where it's a lot of, it all happens so fast that like you think there's a lot of violence, but it's like you don't really see a whole bunch. It definitely has its moments. Like, no, I won't get into spoilers. I was going to talk about what Wonder Woman does.
That sounds dirty. I just want you to know that.
It does.
You're like, it's really adult.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what Wonder Woman does.
I think what really drew me to it is that I'm always a fan of those sort of alternate reality storylines anyway, where you get to see, your favorite characters that you've been following and that you care about. Like, you see them succumb to these different sort of fates, and those stories are always the most fun. Like how the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes, why those are so fun. Like you get to see, like Flanders gets eaten by zombies and stuff like that. And so it's just, I don't know, there's like a cool, scary element to it.
There was, Sean, I don't know if you remember, but like in the 80s and 90s, there was a comic called What If?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what this is.
And What If, Brian, it was a monthly, I mean, the title says it was What If, right? So it's like, what if Wolverine became a vampire or whatever, right? And
right.
What if X, Y, and Z? And you would read it, or at least this was me because I'm sick, you would read it to be like, oh, what horrible ways are my favorite characters going to die in this issue?
Yeah. Right. And there's a lot of that in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Big time. But
I was surprised at how many characters like everybody's in this movie.
Yeah,
like they just dumped the bag of DC Universe characters into this movie, and everybody at least has a line or a moment or something. And some of your old favorites, some of the people that you're expecting to be like, oh, like that character show up. This must be. Oh no, they're dead.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and one thing I want to say, and I don't want to get into spoilers, and we want to move on too, but. There's what really sold me on it. First of all, they bring back Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman.
Of course,
And Kevin Conroy is basically, as far as I'm concerned, Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, all these other guys can take a back seat to Kevin Conroy. As far as I'm concerned, I
completely agree. Yeah.
He is Batman, to quote, to paraphrase somebody that we knew. But they bring him back, which I think is important because there's this great moment at the end of the film, and Sean, you know what I'm talking about, between Flash and Batman. And it's the kind of the whole adventure, whatever has happened, and then we have this little emotional button at the end of the film. And to me, it's just like his performance just sold it, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin it because I think it's one of those things I heartily recommend it. I just think it's a fantastic movie, and I've watched all the DC Universe movies. This is one of the best ones in my opinion.
Yeah, I had just the day before I had also watched Doom, the Justice League Doom movie as well,
right,
just
which
to
is
sort of
from last year,
sort of ramp up to this. But yeah, this one was intense, and there's a lot of cool things about it, a lot of great things about it. I could talk for the full 2 hours about this if we wanted to, but we're not going to.
Have we convinced you, Brian? You're going to watch it?
Convinced.
I do want to plug. I do want to plug my boy, the Flash. I think he's. I think he's got.
He's
probably
just the bomb.
He's the bomb. I think he's got the coolest rogues gallery, the coolest set of bad guys in comics.
Really?
I would even argue, as a whole, not as individuals, but as a whole, I would argue that his rogues gallery is probably cooler than Batman's.
Wow, them's fighting words. Brian's going to have to orchestrate some.
I was trying to find an appropriate sound effect in my phone, but
you got the Joker, who's
like a record scratch. Yeah, exactly.
No. Joker is obviously like sort of the king of all bad guys, but he's one. Batman has a lot of duds in his villain arsenal there. But
well,
it was cool. It was cool
we'll
seeing
leave
Captain
that hanging
Cold
out there.
and Captain
We'll let
Boomerang
people we'll let people chime in
Mirror
on
Master
that.
and Heat Wave and Reverse Flash. I don't know. It was really cool for me.
Well, does he have the Mad Hatter?
Yeah,
He's got the Trickster.
that's true. The Trickster, by the way, who was played on the original Flash TV series by, you guys know?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. The Joker and the
wow.
Trickster, same guy. So,
Didn't know that.
in fact, the Trickster is what led to him getting the Joker role, because he had the same manic persona. But moving on, now the Justice League, the Flashpoint paradox that we're talking about is animated, but it is absolutely not for children. So if you show it to your children, you are a horrible, horrible human being. I can say without fear of contradiction. But the problem that I'm having is that children's movies are amazingly awful lately. and I speak
Explain.
Well, I speak with some experience on this because, as you guys know, I go to these press screenings all the time. And usually when there's a kids' movie, I'll take my two older boys because, we get in for free, and I'd rather not pay $30 to go see a movie, right? Because I am cheap. I'm cheap, actually. But so this past summer, I have not seen Despicable Me 2, but I did see Monsters University and a couple other, and I'm at a point now where I am so I would rather take them to see the Flashpoint Paradox than watch another one of these kiddie movies. Really, because I saw. Did you guys see Monsters University?
I did, and
did, yeah.
I liked it. I'm not going to argue its reason to exist.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I did think it was cute. And I laughed, and it was a step above the rest. And I just saw Despicable Me 1 for the first time recently, and was like, okay, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a cute little girl and the Minions. I get the Minions, obviously, but I was like, what? Like, halfway through this, I was like, it's so hard to get a movie made. How did someone read this and go, yeah, this one? It's just whatever, you know what I mean?
Well,
but
agree
Monsters
with
University, it maybe that's why that's stepped up in.
You know what? I actually agree with you about Monsters University to the extent that it's at the very least it's unobjectionable to you watch it and you're like, all right,
Yeah. I mean, its charm is undeniable, I think.
Yeah, well, and part of that I think is just because we like Billy Crystal in that role. We like John Goodman, and we like that world because the first one was very good. Somebody pointed out to me how it completely inverses the first film. In the first film, it's Mike who's the ambitious and doesn't care about anybody, and it's Sully who's like the good-hearted, good-natured. And this one, which is set before that, is completely like it's like it deliberately misreads the characters almost. Which and that was from a big Disney fan, which I'm not, admittedly, but I took that for what it was. But however, I did see a few weeks ago. I saw Turbo, which is, of course, the snail movie starring the voice of Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson and various other people. And then earlier this week I saw Planes, which is the spin-off of Cars. And so
soon to be followed by Boats.
Yeah, exactly. And Scooters, I think, is the one after that.
And Scooters, yeah.
Now here's the thing. Okay, so I watched Turbo a few weeks ago, and again, this is I can't say I had any huge interest in it, but again, it's a preview screening. I'll take my boys; they'll have fun. So here's what Turbo is about, because I'm assuming you guys have not seen it.
No.
So Turbo, you got this snail whose job is to tend this garden, right? But he has dreams of being a racer. And he's like, I want to be a racer. I want to race and be fast. And people are like, you're not a racer. Your job is to tend this garden. And then this fluke happens where somehow he's able to race, and he ends up competing against this champion racer who he's admired and looked up to, but who turns out to be this kind of a douchebag, right? And it's kind of, the whole movie culminates in this final showdown between this champion and our hero, right?
Is he voiced by Bruce Willis?
We'll get to that in a second.
Snap.
So it might as well have been. So that was Turbo, and then earlier this week I saw Planes, which I'm also assuming you guys haven't seen because it's not out yet. And just to summarize Planes, it's about this guy who his job is to like tend this garden and these crops, and he has dreams of being a racer. And everyone's like, no, your job is to tend these gardens. You can't race. That's not what you're meant for. And then this fluke happens where somehow he's able to participate in this race. And it ends up being this down-to-the-wire competition between our hero and this champion who he looked up to the whole time, but turns out is a jerk.
No. Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Is he voiced by Bruce Willis?
Wow. Okay.
It is the same movie.
Clearly.
What's that, Brian?
I hope our audience is completely confused.
That's wow. Well, I said it's a template. Obviously, I mean, you're just like, okay, I want to see a movie about my kid is really into snails. So we need a movie about snails. Go.
Let's do a Mad Libs
sort of story file that these guys are.
Oh my! I'm not joking.
Exactly.
I hope right now our audience. I hope our audience smokes a lot of weed, and right now they're like, "Whoa,
cosmic
planes are snails and
are
snails
you hearing
are
everything
planes.
twice? Is everybody else hearing stuff twice?"
and of course, Planes stars Dane Cook. So I'm already not wanting to get on the train or the plane, as it were. But it was like halfway through, I was
Well,
like,
it's because it's 2007. That's
I would have said it's 1998, but that's just me, Now, but that being said, Turbo stars Ryan Reynolds, and Turbo has not done great so far. And Ryan Reynolds, of course, starred in R.I.P.D., which is like one of the biggest flops of the year. So here's my question for you guys: is this the summer where the world collectively decided that they hate Ryan Reynolds?
Must be.
How. That's so weird because I like Ryan Reynolds.
Me too.
I don't know, beside one or two, how many Ryan Reynolds movies I actually like. I mean, is it really? I mean, is it? Do I just like the guy? Would I rather just be friends with him? Is that what it is?
Point.
You know what I mean? Rather than the movies, does he actually make good movies, or is he even a likable lead? I don't know. I like the guy. I don't know.
Let's think about this real quick.
I'm going to
Green
go out on a
Lantern
limb
sucked.
and say I can't think of a
Just
single Ryan Reynolds movie that I like.
Just Friends is good.
Just Friends is funny.
Okay, I've not seen Just Friends.
And The Proposal is tolerable.
Yeah, totally. For that genre
harmless.
or whatever.
Ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, I can't. Well, and I think Sean, you were starting to say Green Lantern. I mean, yeah, he's been in movies that I have not enjoyed.
Right. But he's never bad in them.
No,
Right?
I don't know.
But
I mean,
I
maybe
think the
he's
trick
not...
is, do you elevate bad material? And I don't think he does that.
I see.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
I
should write a college thesis on it.
Well, I'm planning to get my PhD, so I guess this is as good a topic as any. It's just weird. It's like there was this collective haze, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, Ryan Reynolds, what's happening here? Why are we? Because like 3 years ago he was elevated to the A-list, and I feel like
Right.
this is the year where he drops down a few rungs.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, these aren't good movies,
Right.
right?
So-
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
right.
I like the guy, but I think part of it could factor into it. And he doesn't seem to pop up, in the media a whole bunch.
No.
But when he does, it's very much. I always remember, like behind the scenes. I always remember back Lost, when Lost became a huge hit. Because I've always been a fan of Matthew Fox, but then I remember this interview, and there were like these series of interviews where people are like asking him about like stuff that he likes to watch and what sort of things inspire him, and he comes across as one of those like like I'm an intense actor, like I don't own a television, like that is beneath me sort of thing. And I think Ryan Reynolds has a maybe a bit of that, where like when you do hear him being interviewed about stuff, he's just very kind of like, yeah, like I have other things to do, I don't care about what's hot in music or what's hot in this or what's popular there. Like he doesn't seem like he's a part of. It doesn't seem like he wants to like talk about this world that he's a part of ever. He doesn't want
This world, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. I do. I found him. I don't know if I found him to be like that. I feel like he seems almost overly jokey. Like he's always sort of on, so to speak. And so whenever someone asks him a question, he always has sort of a witty reply. And so maybe that. I mean, we're talking about him now as a person.
Yeah.
I
think he's a bad person. I'm going to throw that out there.
He'd be an awesome neighbor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're taking out the trash. You happen to be taking it out at the same time. He'd say something really funny. You'd be like, "Yeah, I love that guy." And then you walk back in your house.
You'd think a movie like The Change-Up should be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
On paper.
And it's
not.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay, let's put a pin in that. You know, that's my Jason Bateman. By the way.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, well, I was going to say you could say the same thing about Jason Bateman. Like, I like Jason Bateman, I think, but I don't know that I've liked any movie he's ever made.
I think for me, Jason Bateman will always be David Hogan.
Oh, for sure.
You know, by the way, speaking of that, have you noticed how it's like the world has collectively forgotten about the Hogan family?
Well, not on our watch.
Because I mentioned that show because people are like, oh, you know, Arrested Development, which is great, of course. But it's like, dude, don't you remember Hogan Family? And people are like, and think about this for a second. There was a time when you had a sitcom called The Hogan Family.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, let's watch The Hogan Family.
That success turned it in, delivered on Teen Wolf 2, TOO. Lest we forget.
That's yeah.
It wasn't basketball that time. No, it was boxing. A werewolf boxer.
I think there's some rule that any sequel that uses TOO instead of the number 2 is a bad movie.
Didn't they do that with Titanic? Titanic TOO.
Titanic 2. They should if they haven't.
There was one of those straight to DVD sequels. Yeah,
I think Hasselhoff was in it or something.
Speaking total tangent here, but speaking of Titanic 2, you heard about how there's this Australian millionaire who's building the Titanic 2. Did you hear about this?
No.
This is a real thing. I'm not making this up. And I wish I could remember his name. He's building the Titanic 2, right? Which sounds to me, it's like, well, yeah, I don't know. That seems kind of slightly, like hubris to me. I don't know. It seems like maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not getting on that boat.
But it gets better. It gets better. Here's the part 2 of that story. This same guy, I'm not making this up. That same millionaire, I think his name is Lex Luthor. He's also this is true. He's looking for dinosaur DNA that he can clone and make. I'm not making this up. I swear to God. And I heard about the same guy, and I'm like, does this guy only watch the first 10 minutes of these movies? Every movie. Like, does he? Neither of these stories ends well.
This is the guy you want to be neighbors with.
That's awesome. I love there's a guy that's that big of a maniac who has money.
I gotta look this guy up. I forget his name, but this is true. It's the same guy. I'm like, what's he gonna do next? He's like, I want to invent an artificial intelligence that'll do everything for us. Like, what could go wrong? I want to call it Skynet.
Yeah.
We've given Hollywood so many great ideas on this show. That's another one. A story about an eccentric billionaire who's so busy he only has time.
Bring those things to life. Yeah.
He's so busy he only has time to watch the first 10-20 minutes of every movie.
It's like a
sounds good. Let's do it.
Version of Please Be Kind, Please Rewind. Yeah.
So that's a little messed up, but anyway. So I don't know what the deal is with Ryan Reynolds, but my heart goes out to him a little bit. I do feel bad for Ryan Reynolds.
He'll be fine.
He'll be well. He's married to Blake Lively, so he can.
Yeah, he's all right.
He'll be. Now I want to switch gears a little bit, move to headlines here, and a little bit of somber news here. But I did want to bring it up because this comes from something that's important to all of us. And word just came out recently that Sam Simon, who is the one of the creators of The Simpsons, one of the 3 co-creators of The Simpsons, is suffering from terminal cancer, and they're giving him a few weeks to live, or a few months. And he's been busy giving away the millions and millions of dollars that he's made off of the show. And just a little bit of backstory here. Sam Simon left The Simpsons in like 1993. He left after the 4th season. But because he owns a piece of the show, because he's one of the co-creators, he's made upwards of $10 million for every year that show has been on the air.
Wow.
So, in other words, the show outlasted him by 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's made...
But for people that, go deep into Simpsons history, I mean, he is probably one of the most influential hands in shaping that show. So maybe the name people are not as familiar with, but if you love that show, you have him to thank.
It's probably because of him, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even after he left, like the 5-6 years after he left, because it was kind of the people that he had brought in and sort of trained, so it represented his sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, and Brian, I think you and I were talking about this a few weeks ago, that it's almost like he's like instrumental in shaping our sense of humor.
Yep.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I've said this before. I mean, The Simpsons were enormously influential because it was when they started when I was 10. And I watched it during my developmental years. And I mean, the sense of humor and the point of view and the timing of that show, I mean, just wove itself into the fabric of me. So for sure, and I'm sure you guys would agree.
Yeah, well, something I mention in my class all the time is how, in the context of communication, how the greater context you have with somebody, the more abstract you can be in your communication. I was like, my friends know me so well that I can just send them a random Simpsons quote.
Yeah.
And they'll know. And I was, talking about you guys, of course. And usually those quotes are from the Sam Simon era, or from, and just they represent that kind of off-kilter sensibility. So the it's this weird thing because, I've known about how much money he's made off the show, and it's like, man, rock on, good for him. And to know that he's obviously dealing with this situation is just absolutely heartbreaking because of what a loss it'll be to the world of creativity. I mean, it's not going to be a loss to all the charities that he's given his money to and whatnot, but it's still a sad thing.
But what an inspiring way to handle such a horrible thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, I'm giving it all away. And he has no heirs. He has no spouse or anything like that. So it's sad regardless.
I'm fortunate enough right now that I'm working on this show, and there's a supervising director. This guy, his name is Wes Archer.
Sure, yeah. From The Simpsons,
was a director on The Simpsons for a long, long time. And when I first met him, I was like, Wes Archer. It was the name. It sort of rang a bell, and then I remembered who he was, and it was just kind of like I had to tell him. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. Like, you made me, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like I look up to guys like that, and then to hear him tell stories about guys like Sam Simon and Matt Groening and James L. Brooks and those guys, like he idolizes those guys, and it truly makes you appreciate like the sort of the genius of what they created.
Right.
With this show and everything else that they've done. And it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. I mean, it's kind of we're getting to that age where like the people that we look up to, like all of our heroes, sort of, they're all starting to get up there, and we're gonna.
Well, they're getting up there, or they just turn out to be huge jagoffs. Which, case in point.
I was going to say, go on.
Well, we were talking about this last time, and it's been a bad couple of weeks for Bruce Willis in the PR department.
Oh my, yeah.
Now, last time you guys mentioned this interview that Bruce Willis did in England promoting Red 2. And it's one of these junket interviews where he was, per you guys and Paul Shire's description, he wasn't, the most pleasant person. And I was like, well, let me check this out. And I'm not going to say I was surprised by anything that you said, but I was horrified by what I saw.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I saw myself sitting there getting just reamed out by him. Because
right, yeah, it's what you do.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is absolutely what I do. I go to these junkets. I spend 10, maybe 15, sometimes 20 minutes just chit-chatting with these people. And you know, I've gone to a few of these, and I can say with absolute certainty, I've had some difficult interviews where you kind of have to tease out answers that, you know, and kind of get them interested. I have never once been belittled like this, and I'm amazed this guy even took it, you know? And
yeah. He seemed very on his. Sorry.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just going to say he seemed very quick. You know, he just knew how to handle the situation and just keep it alive, keep going. But at the same time, as quick as he seemed, I mean, he could have totally had some retorts, I think, if he wanted.
Well, now Brian,
he took the high road.
Brian, you mentioned last time that you would have just been like, I totally understand Die Hard 4 and 5 now.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got to lose, right?
I mean, it's putting myself in that position. I can see, like, if I were like, dude, what's your deal? You know, it's one of those things that would come back and bite you because the publicists would hear about it, and then you wouldn't get invited to one of these things. And I get that. I totally get that. But I also think partially he's in that moment. Like, is he seriously, like, is this guy just like coming after me for this?
Yeah, for
doing my job.
Right.
And Paul
is this some sort? Maybe he's like Andy Kaufman. Like, okay, brilliant, bravo. Like, clap when he's done.
Well, Paul was not exaggerating. He's like, oh, I really liked the movie. And he's like, oh, really? You did? I'm like, dude, I don't care if you're John McClane. That's just...
Right, yeah.
You know?
Like, okay, no, I hated it. It was awful. But let's keep going. You know? Like, what? Hey, Louise Parker, you look amazing.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's one of these things where it's like... I mean... His whole thing, like, you know what, making the movie, that was fun, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you know, guess what? This is part of your job, too. This is why you're paid millions upon millions of dollars to play pretend. You know? And to that point about getting paid, this leads us to part 2 of this story, which broke just earlier this week, I think 2 days ago from the time we're recording, which is that turns out Bruce Willis is expendable. He's just not an expendable.
Sound effects are not prepared. We're going to turn this into morning radio.
Now, you know, Bruce Willis has been in the first 2 Expendables movies for, I think, a total of like 10 minutes.
Right.
I haven't seen the second one, actually. Just for a point of clarification, have either of you guys seen part 2?
No. But I imagine he plays the same character he plays in G.I. Joe 2.
And Die Hard 5.
I'm here for like 10 minutes and shoot. Okay, see ya.
Yeah.
So the expectation was that he was going to come back for the 3rd Expendables. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, I'll be back. And the expectation is that everyone else is going to follow his suit. But not so, because earlier this week, Sylvester Stallone tweets, and I'll do this in character, Willis out, Harrison Ford in. Great news. So Willis is out, Harrison Ford is in. Okay, that's tweet number 1. Followed immediately by tweet number 2. Greedy and lazy. A sure formula for career failure. So the assumption was that he was saying something about Bruce Willis being both greedy and lazy, which, to be honest, he didn't even have to clarify. I think everyone who saw that was like, yeah, he's talking about Bruce Willis.
Right.
But his rep was like, yeah, he's talking about Bruce Willis. But with a clarification we got today, this is interesting. I don't know if you guys read this. They wanted Bruce Willis to come to Bulgaria for 4 days. 4 days.
$3 million.
For say again?
For $3 million.
For $3 million. And he's like, I'm not doing it for a penny less than 4. And they were like, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
And then, you know, within 48 hours or whatever, they got Harrison Ford. Now, first of all, I don't know if signing Harrison Ford for Expendables 3 is bad news for Bruce Willis or Harrison Ford. That's question the first. But secondly, I gotta ask, what is Bruce Willis's deal?
Yeah, what reason does he have to be a douche?
Maybe that's just it. Maybe he doesn't... I mean, he is just collecting money. And if he has to break a sweat, he won't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so, yeah, if he's not going to get what he wants, like, what does he got to lose?
Yeah.
So some people are willing to dole it out for him, and other people are not. So he's like, whatever, and then he'll get it for something else.
We should start calling him Douche Willis.
Isn't that sad? bums me out.
It really. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's
the
all
hell out
about
of me, yeah.
the ironic thing is in that interview. He's like, the guy's like, what's the, and he asks a stupid question like, what's the key to winning ladies? Like, what are you freaking asking this guy? Okay, bad question. But he's like, hey, you just you got to be nice. Be nice to people.
Right.
You hear me, asshole? Shithead, you hear me? You gotta be nice. It's like, listen to yourself. Step outside your body for a second and take into account how insane what you're saying is given the context you're saying it in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That interview was like the captain of the football team and the head cheerleader, like, being mean to a kid from the AV club or something. Like, it looked like he was trying to be mean to this guy to impress Mary Louise Parker.
Well, I mean, what do you? I'm trying to read Mary Louise Parker in that interview because
She was
I don't
hard
think
to read, wasn't she?
she was. She felt very neutral, But I've just for point counterpoint. I showed this video in some of my classes, and then as a juxtaposition, I played Christian Bale when he called up K-Rock after his blow up.
Yeah.
You guys remember that from 2009?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where he found new and wonderful ways of using the F word.
Right.
As he yelled at this DP, and that was when he was filming Terminator, which I don't, frankly, after seeing that movie, I don't blame him for being angry.
It all makes sense.
Swearing, yeah,
Yeah.
You totally get it. But that tape comes out, and it says everyone's raking him over the coals, and the context is that shortly thereafter they were making fun of him on the morning show on K-Rock. You guys are in LA. I don't know what the show is. What is it, Kevin and Bean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they were like having fun at his expense, and Christian Bale calls up, and he's just, genuinely apologetic. He's like, "Look, there's no justification, zero for the way I acted. It's absolutely unacceptable." And you buy it. It seems genuine. And then you feel like in the years since then, he's been paying penance for that because he's like traveling all over the world, healing people with his touch. He's like Kane from Kung Fu, he's just everywhere he goes. So it's like point counterpoint, you know what I mean? It's like somebody with some awareness of this gift he's been given, and then as Sean said, Douche Willis, which is now and forever the name that will stick. Now
It hurts me. It hurts me to say that, but yeah.
No, but it's true. It's true-ish. If nothing else, I love somebody referred to his role in G.I. Joe 2 as an extended cameo, and I was like, that's basically what his role is in that movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
he kind of walks in. He's like, "Hey, sit down. This is my house. You can film here." And I'll just kind of walk around in
Yeah.
the background of the scenes.
That's probably a stipulation on that one. You have to come to my house.
bring food.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you film here and bring the pizza. Now, very briefly, we were talking about Harrison Ford, who is replacing Bruce Willis in The Expendables. I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but before we talk more about...
I do.
What's that?
I do.
Can you reenact what that's going to be like, Brian?
What you're asking is a difficult undertaking. And I think you're out of your minds to do it. And then they'll be like, "How dare you?" And he'll be like, "How dare you?" And that'll be it.
Now,
Like, it's gonna
Brian,
be a
what
little
if
cameo? He's gonna mumble.
What if Denzel is in the next Expendables?
Okay. See what you're saying, and coming at you. Yeah. I don't know.
Now do Bobcat Goldthwait.
We'll just keep piling stuff on. Now do Denzel doing Bobcat. I think we broke Brian.
Yeah.
Denzel doing Bobcat quoting a Harrison Ford movie.
How dare you, sir? My man.
Brian is sweating and has now passed out, for those of you who are...
I am sweating.
I peed. I think
He's like, "Oh my God, the pressure. It's too much." And then Mark Wahlberg shows up. "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't talked about Two Guns because I think none of us has seen it.
No, really wanted to.
I don't know if anybody's curious. We haven't seen it. There's no review to offer from us, but I don't know if people read pajiba.com.
Oh,
Go to pajiba.com and look up the Two Guns review. It's
How do you spell that?
amazing. pajiba.com. The review is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
So very briefly, before we talk about some more Harrison Ford, I want to bring back our Star Wars news segment, which we've neglected for a few weeks. Brian, what do you have for us in Star Wars news?
Well, what is today? August 8th, 2013. So for the people in post-apocalyptic America who are finding these files in the archive, this is old news. USA Today. .com. Wow, that's sad, isn't it? Not the paper USA Today, but USAtoday.com put out a trailer for that comic series that's going to be called The Star Wars, which is basically a comic book adaptation of the first draft of Star Wars that George Lucas wrote in 1974. And the trailer has some John Williams-esque music with some of the panels in there. And I think people who are really, really steeped in Star Wars lore know that Han Solo was originally going to be an alien, and it was Luke's name was going to be Luke Starkiller, and so this is that draft of the script translated into comic book form. And if anyone's, I don't know why, like this seems like something I'd be interested in passing, but I'm actually like very interested in this. Like I can't wait to read it actually. And the trailer even got me, more excited. And you probably Google it. And there's also a link where they have the first 10 pages or so of the comic.
Oh, really?
So you can kind of get
check those
a feel
out?
For, yeah. And it's very, it doesn't go very deep. It's just a tease. But, I'm just interested to see, loving Star Wars like I do, I am curious enough to want to see the first iteration of it. I think that'll be interesting.
Does it feel cinematic?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny because, and it sounds like a negative thing, and I don't know if it's a negative thing or not yet, but it feels a lot like the prequels. And, I mean, I think a lot of that can have to do with...
I'm going to go ahead and say negative.
Negative? Well, for sure. Because, I mean, it looks like something... When you look at the first Star Wars, I mean, in my opinion, being the 33-year-old boy who grew up on it that I am, it holds up in some ways. Not in every way, but in a lot of ways, I think it does still hold up. But this looks very grand in scope. Sort of, these huge cityscapes that they have in the prequels. It looks like that's where this version is set, something that they might not have been able to pull off in 1975 or something. So,
wow. I need to see that.
It should be interesting. It comes out, I don't have it in front of me, early September. I want to say like September 8th or somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
So,
it's like a 12-part series or something.
Something, maybe even less. I think it might even be like 6.
Oh, okay. Nice.
6 or 8, yeah. So...
Well, of course, the Star Wars franchise launched the career of Harrison Ford, who went on to become the biggest star of certainly the late 20th century, one of the biggest stars. And although his career has been on a bit of a downswing lately, as evidenced by him being in The Expendables 3, the movie that we've selected for the return, the much vaunted, much anticipated return of Movies That Matter, which has taken a backseat because of summer movies and the spoiler wall and whatnot, is The Fugitive, which this week marks the 20th anniversary of the release of The Fugitive. It came out August 6th, 1993. You and I were, all three of us were in junior high, I believe. Or Sean, I think you and I were transitioning to high school.
Freshman year, probably, yeah.
Yeah, into our freshman year. I don't know about you guys, but for me, The Fugitive was and remains one of my all-time favorite movies ever.
I think it's one of those movies that I don't think about it like I do Star Wars, because Star Wars is so much more in the public consciousness in a way, and there's still T-shirts for it and this and that, but when I was thinking back on The Fugitive for this episode in particular, I mean, it just made me realize how much I heart this movie. Like, I love this movie. It was one of the big ones, I think, for me when I was younger. maybe because I was at that age, I was 13, and just starting to look at movies in a different way, and it really cemented itself into my consciousness.
Yeah, I agree. It's a movie that you don't find yourself thinking about a lot, but that makes it nice because when you watch it, you always sort of forget how great it really is.
Yeah, speaking of films that hold up, I mean, this film completely holds up. I've watched it in the past year. And in fact, this was, now it's very commonplace. I remember when we were in college in like the early 2000s, late 1990s, DVDs were coming into prominence, and it was just so easy to buy a movie. And I think that was kind of the first time your average non-movie freak person was owning movies.
Right.
And going back a little further than that, being the movie little boy that I was, The Fugitive was the first video I ever bought with my own money.
No kidding.
And I remember going into Venture. Remember Venture?
Oh,
Yeah, I miss Venture.
Yeah.
I miss Venture.
They always had Bulls, Chicago Bulls bumper stickers. And
That's right.
And
Go right.
but anyway,
for the
I remember
boys.
there was a display for The Fugitive, and I was like, I love this movie. And I bought it with my own money. And that was, it was one of the first movies I kind of watched over and over again.
Now, I had a similar experience where I bought a used copy from Hollywood Video, as I recall. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Video on Roosevelt Road in Lombard, as I recall. But, just to give people context, because it's been 20 years, and I think I'm willing to wager that a lot of our listeners probably have not seen The Fugitive. As horrific as that sounds, as borderline treasonous as that sounds, I think it's...
To people, if that's the case, do yourself a favor. Like, you've got a really... I'm not going to say it's like the best movie of all time, because it's not. But, like, you've got a good movie you haven't seen waiting for you.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and the beauty of the film is in the simplicity of its premise, right? And just to give a little background info, the Fugitive started out as a TV show in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And the premise, it's almost quaint, right? Because the premise, it was like one of the first Quest shows, and the Quest being, you've got this surgeon who's accused of killing his wife. He escapes. He knows who did it. It was the man with one arm, the one-armed man. And so he has to find the one-armed man while the police officer who captured him is trying to get him back. That's the show. I mean, it's deceptively simple, right? And the show lasted for 5 years, and the finale, where you have Richard Kimball, who was in the show, he was played by David Jansen, the late David Jansen, when he finally catches up with his wife's killer, that was, at the time, one of the most watched TV series episodes of all time, and I believe it remains one of the most watched finales of all time. I think it's like the second or third highest rated finale of all time. But when you take something like that and you boil it down to a movie, the tagline of the film is... a murdered wife, a one-armed man, an obsessed detective. And that's it. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And what's so extraordinary about it is that this was a legendarily troubled production. And I know, Brian, you had done some research on that.
Well, it's interesting because in this day and age, we know everything.
Yeah.
About movies that are being made. And it's funny because I was thinking, how did I know that back then? I don't know. I guess it was just Entertainment Tonight, perhaps. John Tesh, maybe, brought it to my awareness. But yeah, this was a movie where it seems almost common now, but that really had no script.
Right.
And they
were
started
filming
shooting
without a net.
Yeah, and they were writing it on the fly, and apparently, there was a lot of, animosity toward the director, and this was a cobbled together film, really, which is just sort of amazing with the way that it turned out.
Well, and they had been trying to make it into a movie for a long time because The Fugitive is not the first film based on a TV show, based on a classic TV show. It kind of came right in the middle of a big trend because you had Addams Family just a few years earlier. There was a big trend at the time. We don't see it as much now, but there was a pretty big trend, and so they'd been trying for a long time, and they were, they had all various people. I think Walter Hill at one point was going to direct, but he wanted Nick Nolte. He wanted Nick Nolte to star. Can you imagine that? I didn't kill my wife. What the hell's going on here? You're saying I killed her and I didn't. Nick Nolte has always sounded like a 65-year-old man. It's just the damnedest thing.
Yeah, who's gargled like rocks his whole life. And
You and me aren't friends. We're not partners. We're nothing. Can you imagine that?
yeah. Well, I guess Gene Hackman was offered the role of Sam Gerard.
Of Gerard,
Tommy Lee
that's
Jones.
right. I mean,
Which you can sort of like see, but at the same time, I mean, there is that little something that Tommy Lee Jones brought to it.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't just an aggressive person; it was like a charmingly aggressive person. That, I mean, he really. This is a three-dimensional character without really even getting into his backstory.
Right. Well, and now this is interesting because I think this is what we're talking about. So the structure of the film, and I actually, I show The Fugitive in my film classes because I think it's a great example of how, the notion of protagonist, antagonist, right? We translate that as hero and villain, but that's not really the case in this film. Because Kimball is the protagonist, Gerard is the antagonist, but he's not the villain.
Right.
And I think, and I don't know this for certain, but I think that if you were to clock it, we probably spend more time with Gerard.
Yeah.
Through the course of the film, and so you can't help but like him.
Right.
And when you think about it, we don't spend that much time with Kimball, but we also don't need to because it's Harrison Ford.
Right.
So
you get him.
Like he says he didn't kill his wife. We believe it.
Right.
Right.
You
think I took her? I squeezed her throat, and that was all improv, by the way, by Harrison Ford. I don't know where he just told those cops who were interrogating him. He's like, just throw stuff at me, and he just kind of mumbled in them. They're like, do you have the little gimmick there on the mechanical arm, prosthetic hand? But the pursuit between the two of them, we actually spend more time with Gerard, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet.
And so by the end, we're just waiting for them to figure out that they actually love each other. Basically. Will you two crazy kids figure out that you're in love and just put this charade behind you? I don't know. I mean, when was the first time that you guys saw it? Did you see it in the theater?
I did. Stratford Square Mall.
Really?
Yep. Bloomingdale.
Sean, what about you?
Oh, no.
No, I saw it on VHS from Blockbuster Video. With
wow, what a difference!
Yeah, I think
Blockbuster Video.
It was just one of those, Friday night, family night. Let's rent a movie and order pizza kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Maybe you guys disagree, but to me, this wasn't one of those movies where right away I was like, "This movie is so awesome and amazing."
Right.
It grows on you.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
That's it, because it's not a blockbuster.
Yeah.
No.
At all. Like, it doesn't have... I mean, it has action in it, but I wouldn't call them set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an adult... I mean, it's not R-rated, but it's like an adult drama.
Yeah. It's an adult-minded drama in that it's not...
Yeah.
We don't have Kimball and Gerard destroying several city blocks.
Yeah, and it has captivating characters and moves at a very well-timed clip.
Yeah.
I think. It's very engaging. And it also... Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please, continue.
Well, I was going to say, but it also... speaking of set pieces, I mean, it has that train sequence at the beginning, which is really notable and interesting,
iconic,
especially now. It is very iconic. I mean, it's been parodied on a lot of things, The Simpsons, and things like that. But what's interesting about that is that it made me think of the train sequence in Super 8. Which is this 3.5 minute, crash that was made entirely in a computer, and these train cars are moving in ways that defy gravity, and it's exciting because our minds are starting to adjust to CGI logic. But the Fugitive in the first act has this real train crash that they actually staged, and it's really compelling and intense, and it lives up to what it is. I mean, it's a spectacular train crash.
Yeah, and like you said, it's real, which we feel that intensity much more.
Yeah.
Even though you can tell that Harrison Ford has been superimposed, on a blue screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But you buy
like,
you buy the reality.
Contextually, yeah, in the moment you don't care, you don't think about it. I remember that this movie feeling like this was going to be one of those movies that was like meant for my parents at the time. You know, it's like I wasn't like excited about it, but the fact that Harrison Ford was in it because he was Indiana Jones and Han Solo, I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that with you guys. You know, and yeah, I don't know, I can't put my finger on any one thing that makes me, you know, love it more than other movies. But it's just interesting because you were talking about that there's the structure of the film, and there really isn't a structure of the film. It's just sort of like...
Well, it's episodic, like the show.
Yeah, the chase happens, and they get from A to B, and then it's over. And there's not a lot of, like, you know, there isn't like a second act climax, and it's not, you know, like a paint-by-numbers narrative or flow or anything like that. It's just, you know, like the adventure begins, and you're just sort of along for the ride, and then it's done.
Yeah, and with the structure of the show, if correct me, because I didn't watch the original or the second take,
which
of
we'll
the
talk
show
about in a little while.
Yeah, but the structure of the show was basically him going from town to town trying to solve this mystery, but he also encountered people and sort of helped them through their little minor issues, which has been incorporated into the film. Like there's a little boy,
which Brian, to that point, I think that's really important because what you just said, in the course of the show, because you had five years, right? So Richard Kimball would show up in a town, and yeah, he would, you know, he's searching for the one-armed man, but he encounters like a wife who's being abused by her husband or whatever, you know, and he ends up helping them, and then the episode ends with him on the road again, right? And the point you make about the boy who he helps in the hospital, that's literally put in there to incorporate that aspect of the fact that, you know, because Kimball is in the hospital, he's in the heart of it, and he's going out of his way to help somebody when it would be so much easier to look the other way.
Right.
But he's putting himself in danger because that's the character, you know? And I think it's very smart. It's very economical. And it's a very ego-free performance by Harrison Ford because you can tell that there is a lot. I think, in my opinion, I mean, it seems like there's a lot that he did to sort of minimize the prominence of his character. You know, in terms of it's mostly played in looks. Here and there, and just you know, there's a moment in the film which I think is great where he's staying at some, you know, he's staying at some flop house, and the cops show up, and he has this moment of like, oh crap, I need to get out of here, and it turns out that the police are looking for somebody else at the place, not him, right?
Yeah, right.
And the way he plays just this release of like stress and frustration
coming
and
down
relief
from that adrenaline build.
Yeah, you know, it's this great moment, you know, and the whole movie is structured that way.
And speaking of, I mean, this movie was nominated for Best Picture,
and
this movie based on a television show,
and absolutely deservedly so.
No script and no plan.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that and being cobbled together, it was also nominated for Best Film Editing, and it involves 6 people, so 6
and an exorcist.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you're talking about action highlights. One of my highlights is when Kimball goes to the police station to interview the guy who he thinks is the one-armed man. He goes to prison. Turns out to be the wrong guy. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then he's going down the stairs, and it just so happens that Gerard, you know, Tommy Lee Jones is just great in this movie. Just throughout. I mean, this is like the career peak performance for him, but you know, Gerard sees him and he's chasing him down the stairs, right? And it's this cat. It's like this slow motion cat and mouse chase as these two guys. They're not running; they're walking down the stairs. And at one point, Kimball kind of goes to this other stairwell. He comes down, and I love this. He's like, "Officer, there's a man up there in a blue top coat. And he's waving a gun at a woman."
Yeah.
You know, and then they grab Gerard. It's this great moment, you know.
Yeah.
But the movie, you know, it feels. Here's what it is. You know, we're talking about it being cobbled together. The whole movie feels like that. It feels like these moments that the actors just pulled out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because that feels, and I don't know if that was in the script or not, but it just feels like something Harrison Ford came up with at that moment.
Yeah.
There's an exchange between Gerard and the two deputies where they're talking about hinky, the word hinky.
Right.
And I don't know, there's something about this hinky, and Gerard's like, what's hinky? And I don't know, strange, weird. Like, I don't want you guys using words that don't mean anything. And you know, Brian.
But you know what's funny is, I was just going to say that the thread that holds it all together, the fact that he's trying to figure out not only who murdered his wife, but why.
But why?
Right.
And that whole thread really is laced well throughout the film. I mean, it's not this tacked on thing where in some of these movies you're like, all right, we got to have this thing for him to figure out and we can move on.
Right.
You know, just so we can have an excuse for this action that came before it. I mean, him piecing it together and finding the clues and putting himself in danger to get closer to the information he needs, I mean, is well, I mean, in mind, knowing that it was such a slapdash sort of production. I mean, it's well structured.
Right. It's you know, if the movie was made today, it would be like, oh, dude, trilogy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean that's like when you look at all the ways this movie went right, and it's really kind of one of those there but for the grace of God type things. Because one of the, you know, they were cobbling the script together. One of the ideas that they had was that Gerard has a grudge against Kimball because Kimball operated on his wife and she died on the table. Like, it just sounds horrible.
It would totally be in today's version.
Yeah.
Well, this is now. I threw this out to some of our listeners via our Facebook page, and they chimed in with some comments. And this is from Jeff Connell. He says, 20 years. How long before Warner's does a reboot? Of course, it would have to be a trilogy. The first movie would focus on Richard Kimball and his wife. It would end with her getting killed.
Right.
Channing Tatum as Richard Kimball, Josh Brolin as Gerard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have Josh Brolin. He is the young Tommy Lee Jones, right? Right? And then Megan
right,
Fox
yeah.
as his wife.
Richard, come on.
But the film itself. Now, Brian, you and I were talking earlier about how quotable it is.
To us.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else, I mean, honestly, besides you, my brother, and myself, that actually quote, you know, start a sentence and then end it with, so he could give you Provasic.
So this is my Harrison Ford. This is my Harrison Ford impression. I don't quote Indiana Jones or Star Wars. I quote, he switched the samples so that Devlin McGregor could give you Provasic, or so that they'd approve our DU-90 and Devlin McGregor could give you Provasic.
Yeah. And then I was recently back in Chicago a couple weeks back, and I was on the L train, and they said over the PA, next stop, Merchandise Mart, which is a plot point in the film, that announcement. And so I immediately pulled out my phone and texted Zaki.
That's what we do. Or my tweet
burned.
My tweet a few years ago maybe was I texted Brian. I was like, Desmondo Jose Luis.
Mm-hmm. Where you at, Desmondo?
Where you at, Desmondo?
So here's now there's two sort of spin-offs that happen to The Fugitive. We've established how great The Fugitive is. First of all, I want to talk about the sequel. I want to talk about the sequel that they made first, which I'm assuming you guys have seen.
Yeah.
Why is
all I remember is Wesley Snipes in a Stevie Wonder wig.
That's
seriously.
That's right.
All I remember from that movie.
Now, the U.S. Marshals came. So The Fugitive comes out in 1993, huge hit. They're trying to figure out what to do, and I think the first idea was to have Richard Kimball get remarried and have that wife killed also.
That would be so terrible. But
he's like, I still didn't kill my wife, you know.
Yeah.
And Tommy Lee's like, I still don't care.
Yeah.
But the sequel they ended up doing, which I got to be honest, in concept makes sense. You bring back Tommy Lee Jones, you bring back his team of deputies, and you have him chase another guy.
Totally.
When I first heard about this developing, I was like, rock on, this sounds great. So why is the movie so aggressively mediocre? U.S. Marshals.
Bad director, for one thing. Stuart Baird.
Stuart Baird is not what you call good. That is true. Sorry, Stuart Baird. I think Stuart Baird is our one viewer right now watching us. Right? Why do you say such hurtful things?
2 words: Star Trek Nemesis.
That would be 3 words, Sean.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what?
Wow.
I haven't seen this movie since like VHS rental, so I'll be honest, I don't remember. I just remember my impression of it, where I was just, it was say there was some movie you really liked, and then TNT was like, we're going to make an original movie that's a direct sequel to that movie you liked.
Right.
You know, it just felt like such a step below.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, I was happy they brought all the deputies back. I was like, all right, Wesley Snipes, and they had Robert Downey, who was, he wasn't Robert Downey Jr. the way he is now, but I mean, he was a well-known face. I mean, they weren't skimping on this.
No.
But it was almost like too much of Tommy Lee Jones, who we really liked in the first one. It was just like, we didn't learn anything new about him.
I don't think Wesley Snipes had, like... Does he even have a line in this movie?
Yeah, he's like, I pay my taxes. No.
Does he say that?
No.
Oh, no.
That would be ironic.
I
I mean,
yeah.
the way I remember it is just like, it's Tommy Lee Jones doing his thing, and then we cut to Wesley Snipes realizing he's been caught, and he starts to run away. And then we cut back to Tommy Lee Jones.
I just
So this is
remember he
2
kinda
separate
had an
movies.
Attitude. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't. There wasn't like a real arc for him. He was just like, I didn't do it. Why you follow me? Like, get off my back. Like I just remember there was like this big. Like he wasn't very endearing.
Yeah.
Just like, put on another wig and run that way.
Yeah.
Put on this costume and run that way.
Right.
Don't
I
worry,
mean,
it'll all make sense. It'll all make sense in editing. Don't worry. We'll put it
the
together.
expectation
It worked
was
for the first
that
one. Yeah.
we'd get we'd get a trilogy of U.S. Marshals movies. Obviously, that didn't happen. But they did try again a few years later, same producers, in 2000 with the Fugitive remake series, which I want to mention briefly, because this is the great unknown. People don't realize that it exists, which is unfortunate
It's
because
awesome.
I loved it. I loved it dearly when it was on. And
Yeah.
they had Tim Daly, a friend of the show, Tim Daly, even though he hasn't actually been on our show, but I'd like to think of him as a friend of the show. Playing Richard Kimball, and they rebooted it again. They had Michael T. Williamson as Gerard. I mean, it was really good. It was a
great.
good
Yeah.
reboot that nobody watched. Sadly, nobody watched it.
Well, that was on
With-
CBS before CBS became the most watched
CBS,
network.
yeah.
And you put that on now, then it'd probably be
Well,
massive.
you know what's funny, Brian, is that The Fugitive aired on Friday nights, and that the expectation was that was going to be just the breakout hit, and it was followed by at the same time it followed up with a show that also started that same season, which nobody had any expectations for, called CSI.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
It was The Fugitive and CSI, and from the opening episode, it was like nobody watched The Fugitive, and everybody tuned in to watch CSI.
So
Wow.
interesting.
Well, well, you know what? At the same time, I mean, if there was some movie I loved, and then they were going to make a television show out of it, immediately I'd be like, whatever.
Right.
I don't think that is something that's like, oh, well, surely this will be of a high caliber. I mean, I think
I get
there's
that,
a crappy track record with those sorts of things, I guess.
Well, and the film came to a resolution.
Right.
So it's
Right,
like, well,
yeah, right.
And
we saw the story.
and the TV reboot ends on the mother of all cliffhangers.
Yeah, exactly. It ends on just, I think the last episode is called Blue Balls.
I remember, Zaki, you and I watched it together.
Yeah, we were like, no!
Seriously, there was like it was at our apartment with Paul Shirey, and there was like a party or something going on in the other room, and Zaki and I had to like lock ourselves away to watch the last episode of The Fugitive.
Yeah.
And it ends, and yeah, there were cries and there were tears, and
Yeah.
You two are the ones who are married, and I'm not.
That's right. The show,
I'd
by
like
the
to
way,
say
in
about-
addition to Tim Daly and Michael T., it starred Stephen Lang as the one-armed man.
yeah. Something I'd like to say about the show, and I thank Zaki because he found, I don't know where, but he found a copy for me that he had burned to DVD so that I could have the complete Fugitive with commercials and everything, which is
That's
awesome.
right. That's right.
So it's basically like VHS quality burned onto a DVD, but I don't care. And I hope that this series is something that Tim Daly's really proud of, because what I liked about it was that it was almost like this weird tale of destiny. How it was almost like his wife was meant to die so that he can go on this journey and help all these other people along the way.
Yeah.
Like he's basically like an angel that goes from town to town and affects people's lives in positive ways. And then there's also, the element of like every week it's, will he or won't he get caught by Gerard, or will he or won't he screw up that leaves, a trail that people can trace him. But like coming off of Wings, which ran for 8 seasons, which was, an NBC comedy, Tim Daly's dramatic chops were something really to be need to be hailed in this one. I remember specifically there was an episode where is it his dad dies or something, Zaki?
His dad dies, Philip Baker Hall.
There's just like the performance where he says goodbye to his father, and then there's another performance where he's basically talking to his wife again. Like
and Sean, let me pick up on that. She's played by Kelly Rutherford.
Kelly Rutherford.
Yeah, he's sick, so he's hallucinating, and he sees his wife, and it's this beautiful moment where it's his vision, and he's talking to her, and he's like, don't leave, and she's like, I have to leave, I don't belong here, and he's like, I don't belong here either, And then he just, and it's this, he's like, why are you here? Why did you come back? To tell me I have something that I can look forward to, and he's like, the world thinks I killed you, but worse than that, they want to think that.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, I can't. I don't even have time to mourn for you because I'm so busy running and trying to find that guy. Like, it's this beautiful, poignant moment, and it's Sean, to your point. I mean, it's this great performance by Tim Daly, who I didn't think of as a dramatic actor really before that.
Right.
Now I watch Wings, I'm like, man, Tim Daly's really funny. Like, it's he's got chops in both directions.
Yeah.
So the point
the
I guess we're making,
filled,
Brian, is you should have watched the show. Is what we're saying. Brian.
Yeah.
It's filled with those moments where you really feel the loss.
Yeah. And
not just of his wife, but of his life as a whole. Like, you really feel that Kimball has lost everything.
Well, and show...
You try to imagine yourself... Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, well, it excelled at doing what was, an area that the film couldn't do. I'm not going to say it was a debit of the film, but it just couldn't do it, which is get into the loneliness of being this guy. And living this life of just desperation,
Right.
It's a shame. I and to your point about whether Tim Daly's proud of it, a few months ago I tweeted, because I do nostalgia theater on my blog, Zaki's Corner, and I did a piece about The Fugitive, and I tweeted Tim Daly. I was like, Tim Daly, here's an article about your show, me, and Tim Daly retweeted it. He retweeted it to his followers, so I consider that. That made my
friend of the show for sure.
Friend of the show, Tim Daly. That's right.
We should really try to get him on.
Well, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. But regardless, the Fugitive franchise, whether we're talking about the first film, the original TV series, or the remake series, we will kindly sidestep U.S. Marshals, is something that matters, and the Fugitive film is absolutely a movie that matters. So if you have not seen it, if you have not seen it, you absolutely should. And by the way, a 20th anniversary Blu-ray will be out in a few weeks. So
what's a Blu-ray?
Okay, well, Sean, you are
can I just watch it from the cloud?
Yeah, I know you're addicted to the cloud now, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
I'm still, there's something about owning movies that I'm still partial to, owning a physical copy. But
I don't know. We talked about this before. There's the effort of having to go into the closet and dig it out and actually find what it is you're looking for, or just like, I'll just stream it. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, I'm getting there. Trust me. Because I have so many DVDs and Blu-rays that I've lost because my horrible children go through my things and ruin them. The 3 ruiners. But anyway, moving on. Sorry.
Go through it all over again.
We're going down to a dark place. Sorry. It is now time for the movie film quiz, as we do each and every week. Now, last week, Paul Shirey showed up and schooled us all. So,
Not me.
well, regardless, I've composed a Fugitive / Harrison Ford related quiz for the two of y'all.
Kablamo.
Happy day. Blammo.
So here we go. For your avatars this week, why don't you pick your favorite Harrison Ford characters?
I will be... I was going to try to slyly, really quickly look up his character from Witness on IMDb, but there's a little bit of dead air there, so...
Fake Amish detective.
Fake Amish detective. Okay.
Fad.
I'll be fake Amish detective.
Okay.
And I'll be Han Solo.
Jeez.
I'll take it.
Okay. Got it.
Alrighty.
No,
So-
I'll be Captain K-19, the Widowmaker guy.
Oh, okay.
Captain K-19, the Widowmaker guy.
I'll just say Captain K-19.
Wait. Real quick.
Yes.
I talked to my mom very briefly right before we were about to record, and I was like, hey, Mom, we're going to do this thing on the episode, da-da-da-da-da. And she just texted me, hope your podcast is going well. Next stop, Merchandise Mart. Love you, Mom.
Full of win. That's we're doing something right.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to go? So,
Yeah.
Yes.
question the first. The actor who plays Richard Kimball's attorney in The Fugitive is the father of this famous Chicago-based actor, or actor from Chicago.
The father of this actor.
Fake Amish detective.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Young Chicago actor.
Not young. He's
Oh,
but
I'm
Captain-
trying to think how old his attorney was.
Captain K-19.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm going to go with...
it's a famous actor who happens to be from Chicago.
Jim Belushi.
No. Captain K-19? Widowmaker?
Bill Murray.
No.
That was my first sort of inclination as well, but I don't think the ages line up. Okay, one more try for me. Fake Amish
Yes.
detective.
Yes.
Oh boy. Chicago. Oh, come on. Just get brain farts when you do this. I understand why people choke up on television.
And you're choking like a pro.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Chicago.
Oh, Captain K-19.
Yes.
Yep.
John Cusack.
Yes.
That's good. That's a good one. Nice.
Did you just look that up?
Nope.
Yeah, the actor
Very
is
good.
Dick Cusack, the late Dick Cusack, who's of course father of John
Ah.
and Joan Cusack.
Wow.
You might
As soon as you
remember
said
him
it,
from
I'm
his
like, of course.
from his line in the film where he says, "We can't find the guy.
Oh yeah.
Can't find the guy.
Dream
You
sequence?
find this man." Yeah, it's in the dream exactly.
Oh yeah. 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 Okay.
Alrighty.
Good question.
That was good.
The Fugitive is the first time Harrison Ford appeared in a film based on a TV series. However, he was offered the lead in this film based on a TV series previously.
Captain K-19.
Yes.
Oh, I might have the times mixed. I was going to say Mission Impossible.
No.
It's a good guess. Fake Amish detective.
Yes.
Twilight Zone.
No. That's a good guess, but no.
Okay, so a television series. I'm trying to think was it ever eventually made?
Yes, but not with him.
Matlock?
That would be now. You guys both give up?
Can we have a hint?
Yeah, I guess give us another hint.
It's a movie based on a TV series.
When was the TV series?
The TV series was in the 60s. Or the 50s.
Fake Amish detective.
Yes.
Lost in Space.
No. This is before The Fugitive.
Oh. Brother, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Both of
relinquish.
you?
Yeah.
The Untouchables.
Oh. That makes sense.
yeah, all right.
And interestingly enough, Kevin Costner was originally considered for the role of Richard Kimball.
Yeah.
In addition to Kevin Costner and a few other people. What's that, Brian?
I was trying to do Kevin Costner. Go ahead.
Oh. Is there a Kevin Costner impression?
There is, but my voice won't support it.
My Kevin Costner impression is where I pee and in a glass and drink it. That's how I.
Yes.
It's performance art.
Yeah.
So this is another actor who.
Is this question 3?
This is question 3. Okay.
This is question 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. In The Fugitive, the first choice for the role of Richard Kimball was an actor who Harrison Ford had previously played musical chairs with. Name the actor. Not literally playing.
Captain K-19. Captain K-19.
Yes.
Captain K-19. Tom
Yes.
Selleck.
No, but good guess.
Damn.
Musical chairs.
Not literally musical chairs for a role.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I suppose. I mean, I'm fake Amish detective.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken,
No, but good guess.
because he was supposedly he tried out for Han Solo.
That's right. He was the first choice for Han Solo. Man, you guys are.
Is it the person who was originally going to get the role in Witness?
No. It's somebody who.
Wow,
it's,
we're
it's-
stinking up the joint.
Yeah, you are. It's. I'm embarrassed to know you, frankly.
Somebody who.
It's somebody
You're gonna
who.
give us a hint there.
I mean, if I say it, I'm going to give it away. I mean, it's just it's somebody who previously flip-flopped roles with Harrison Ford.
When did their movie come out?
Oh! Fake Amish detective.
Yes,
Damn it.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Boom.
Oh.
Yeah, they had offered it to him first, and he had to drop
Ryan.
out.
Yeah, and
He played
Alec
Jack
Baldwin
Ryan.
was in Hunt for October, but then Harrison Ford took over for Patriot Games.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Harrison Ford was
Okay, that's
actually
interesting.
after Alec Baldwin, they offered it to Andy Garcia. Which, I mean, I like Andy Garcia, but I can't imagine him playing the role as well as Harrison Ford did.
Yeah,
Wait, of Richard Kimball?
yeah.
Of Richard Kimball,
Wow,
yeah.
that would have been.
That would be interesting.
Any Andy Garcia impressions, anybody?
No,
Sorry, I'm tapped out. It's where I pee in a
kill my
glass
wife.
and drink it.
Oh.
That's it. That's all I got.
Question, what is this, 4?
Yes.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Well, name the 2 other movies directed by Steven Spielberg that Harrison Ford was offered the lead in and turned down. So
Fake
you have
Amish Casino.
you have to name
or
both.
fake Amish detective.
Did you say Amish Casino?
Yeah, I
The hell?
I have. Oh, because I was thinking Andy Garcia in Ocean's 11. Yeah. Is honestly where that came from. Welcome to Brian's brain. It's a
What a
mess.
wonderful place.
Okay, so the 2 roles, Spielberg films, roles offered to Harrison Ford that he turned down: Jurassic Park
Yes.
and E.T.
Not E.T.
Oh, but it is. He was offered a role in E.T. that he turned down.
But he filmed his
technically,
role
I
in
am
E.T.
correct.
He filmed the role in E.T.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Captain K-19.
Fair enough.
Yes.
A Spielberg directed movie, you said?
Yes. I'll give you a hint.
I-
It's from
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
from
no.
the 80s.
No.
You got nothing? It's from. It's
No,
not
I got
from
nothing.
the 80s. It's not from the 80s. It's from the 90s.
Captain K-19, Schindler's List.
Schindler's List. That's right.
No. Really?
Yeah, Schindler's List. They offered him the role
He
of,
was going to
of
have him
Oscar
play
Schindler.
Schindler?
Yeah, can you believe that?
No.
I say that point goes to Brian because I needed a hint. So
That's tricky because
Okay,
I got half,
so-
but you got half.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Well,
say just,
that would make
just
us tied. So, and this is question 5, and the third question or second question got thrown out. So now we're tied.
But
Let's
I
do
got
that.
the first one. So
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go.
1-1. Here we go. Here's the tiebreaker.
Now, Harrison Ford was chased by Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. In which movie was he chased by Jango Fett?
Oh, wait a second.
Fake Amish
Captain
Detective.
K-19.
I think Brian.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the same ones because Boba Fett's really just a clone of Jango Fett.
Touche, but it's not a trick question. So
Oh.
yeah, that's a good answer, but it's not. Yeah,
Patriot Games.
good guess, but no.
You're talking about the actor who played Jango Fett.
That's correct. Tamura Morrison.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that movie? Oh, okay. Fake Amish detective.
Yes,
Firewall.
we're really dipping into the obscure part of his catalog, right? That is incorrect.
Captain K-19.
Yes.
Hollywood Homicide.
Okay, we're just not going to get it, are we?
Give us a hint. Give us a hint.
It's
Somebody's got to get this question. So
it's a romantic comedy.
Captain K-19.
Yes.
What the Working Girl?
wait. Fake Amish detective. Morning
Yes.
Glory.
No.
Yeah?
You guys are
No?
no.
What other romantic comedy was it?
What decade did this movie come out?
The 90s.
Fake Amish detective Sabrina?
Okay, you're not going to get it.
Who's
Should I
his
just tell you
co-star
because
in the movie?
we're like going into overtime here at this point.
Who's his
We're
co-star?
going to need a really long music track for
I
that.
know.
Who's the co-star? Just give us the co-star.
What's that?
Who's his co-star?
Well, if I give you that, it's going to give it away.
Well, so we got to get something.
Give us
David
the year.
Schwimmer
Give
is
us
in
the
it.
year.
David Schwimmer is in it.
Oh, what the hell's that movie called?
Okay, I'm
We're
going to
do
tell
a
you.
little bit of dead
Yeah.
air editing here.
Yeah, exactly. This is just awkward and uncomfortable. The movie is 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Oh, with Anne Heche?
Yes,
How
That's
dare
a
you
romantic
invoke its
comedy?
name.
that's right.
All right, you want to take the tie, Sean?
Sure. I
Okay.
have no
Both
problem
win.
admitting I'm just as good as
Well,
Brian.
I got one more tiebreaker question.
Oh, never mind.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll kill you, Sean. Our camaraderie has come to an abrupt end.
Okay, here we go. So Harrison Ford was offered the role of Elliot Ness. That went to Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner was considered for the role of Richard Kimball, and that went to Harrison Ford. What other role that Harrison Ford eventually played was first given to Kevin Costner?
Captain K-19.
Yes.
Gonna just throw out K-19 the Widowmaker.
No, but good guess.
Wait, you said this is a film. Wait, can you repeat it?
It's a role that Harrison Ford eventually played, but it was
That was
offered to Kevin
originally
Costner
offered.
first. After The Untouchables, after The Fugitive.
Captain K-19.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Brian's got to guess. You got to
No,
guess first.
I go for it.
Air
I got
Force
nothing.
One.
Air Force One, that's right.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, the story goes that Kevin Costner specifically said, you should get Harrison Ford to play this.
Huh.
Really?
because he's a big pansy, apparently, Kevin Costner.
Can you imagine, like, President Kevin Costner? He was still kind of like youngish. Robin Hood-y Kevin Costner at the time, yeah.
Robin Hood-y. That's the remake of Robin Hood that they're doing next year. Robin Hood-y.
All right. Well, good quiz. That was a tough quiz, but good quiz.
Yeah. See, this is why I prefer competing, because questions are too hard apparently.
No, they're hard, but they were good. They were good.
Yeah,
it was good trivia.
All right, gentlemen.
I hope our audience stuck with us for 45 minutes there.
Yeah. Well, we have one viewer, so thank you, viewer, who are watching. We hope the questions were amenable with you. As we wind towards the end of our show, very briefly, Brian, where can people find you online?
At everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I, and I posted.
You did?
Really?
I did.
Well, everything is coming up, Brian.
I plan to keep it up at a more regular rate. So
that's good. That's what I want to hear. Sean, what about you?
Moosehub.com, and all of us at MrBoyProductions.com, and Facebook.com/MovieFilmPodcast, and MovieFilmPodcast.com.
I think that's everything, right? And, of course, you can find me at ZakisCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner.com, as well as at the Huffington Post. My review of Elysium should be up by the time you're listening to this. Also, send us any questions or comments to moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Also, be sure to hit up iTunes and or StitcherRadio.com and download the show from there, stream the show from there, write a review on both of those. Every review you write helps us, and it makes Brian smile. And it's nice when Brian smiles. The world is happier when that happens. Be sure to join us in 2 weeks when we'll be talking about Kick-Ass 2, and by then Brian and Sean will have seen Elysium, so we'll be discussing that, and we'll have a new selection for movies that matter. On behalf of my colleagues Sean Coyle and Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. Thank you for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Welcome, friends.